This is my third meeting. This is the meeting for our vision, one of our tier 1 instruction meetings. So what we did, part of the culture of Cavazos is we always at the beginning of the year come up with our vision and mission statements. And one of the biggest things that we do is come up with a little slogan, and ours is progress over perfection this year. And we always start by like at the beginning of our days with a nice statement of how we're resilient and worthy Cavaliers. And this is just part of our school culture. And one of our cultural pieces is to give the best instruction. And so right now at Cavazos, all of our core teachers are getting time in PLCs with these amazing leaders. And one of the things that they've been incorporating across our core subjects is tier 1 instruction strategies. But our electives have been left out. So that's been part of my focus. And we've already held 2 meetings. Our first meeting was to go over one of our tier 1 instruction strategies, and that is to create a vision statement, and then not only have that, but teach this vision to the students and let them visualize something, and then take that visualization and then create that into a quick write. And then now we have our students visualizing and writing. So today what we have is this is the progress after doing this for 2 to 3 class periods, okay? So we have Miss T here, and she's gonna start us off with how this high structure classroom objective went for her.
Okay, so I did where they did a Google form, and so we were creating how to edit format, and so they visualized what it was going to look like first, then they wrote down what they were going to do, and then they did it, and then they wrote afterwards, did it look the way they wanted it to or not? Did it come out the way they wanted it to? And that worked for us. I'd say about 85% of the students did really well with that.
So about 85%, that's awesome. And so how did you track your data on that?
They were doing it on, they're turned in, like Google Classroom, where they turned it in.
Okay, so they turned in through Google Classroom, and then now you can kind of see what their visions, did you get to have a chance to like talk about how their vision matched up with the
Yes, that was kind of their exit ticket. So we talked a little bit about what worked better.
Goodness gracious, sorry about that. Didn't know that was going to happen.
That's okay, no.
All right, good. And so I got my videographer here, and have you done any visualization in any of the classes that you've taught?
I don't have a class during the period when we do all of this, but we at the beginning of the year talked about we kind of went through sentence structure of exactly each part of it and what it means, and kind of define the harder words like being resilient and things like that. But I haven't done anything since the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, and so you're an instructional coach, so you're not mostly focused on that type of tier 1 instruction. You're more tier 1 instruction leadership, and so you're teaching the teachers how to do a lot of these things. So so just to kind of like refresh and go back through this, the idea is that we asked the student to visualize what it might be. So like the one I did was I focused a lot on esports in one of my sections in my room, and so I had them visualize a map, and then I wanted them to build the map on the game. And then I said, well, can you draw the map first? So they drew the map out of their mind, and then I asked them to go to a digital platform and then draw it like that. Then we had the conversation, how close was this to your map? And I said, did you draw it like a maze where you had to go through it, or did you just have a line where you had to that just represented a pathway? And so this set up all of our conversations, and I said, now we need to write about it. Like, can you give me verbal instructions as to what your path is? And this created that level of differentiation that put them to that next level. All right. So anyhow, the next thing is, I'm just kind of going by my timeline here, and how could we make the short right visualization even better? Like in your class, how could it have been made better?
Maybe create a journal so they can keep
Oh, yes.
keep it like day to day or maybe project to project, and then they can go back and look at what they did before and maybe make it better afterwards as they go, as we get better with that strategy.
I think that's great. And we mentioned we kind of were in a hall pass, and I said something about how I do our journaling is we do a Google site, and then they put a text box on there, and then they have a date, and it's like, this is the day it happened. And then now they have a digital journal of, I'm making them write it in a journal, but they're also having to type it on a digital journal. And so now we have a time lapse as to them doing it, and now I can actually see progression in their writing. So one of the ones I wanted to share with you was, since I'm doing this in a progression, my first day I just make them write one sentence, and so up here, this is my sentence stem. If you'll want to like take a look at this, it just says, I will trap my opponent in effort to win the game. So this is like, how are you going to trap them? And so that's the whole idea, is like, this is the question that's going to lead to that imagination piece, so that we can, how can I trap them? But look, it's only one sentence. So on day 2, I'm going to make this higher. I'm going to say, okay, not only do you have this sentence, let's add to it. Day 3 will give me 3 sentences. Day 4 is 4 sentences. And this is how I'm going to try to build on the scaffolding of the visualization quick write strategy. Okay. So that's basically the strategy. As an instructional coach, how do you think that something like this, do you see where I maybe could also improve upon that from your aspect, from you're a math coach, so how could we maybe improve on that? Do you know of any?
I think visualization is super key to almost anything that you teach. And so I think whenever I go into a classroom and I'm talking to a teacher about how to enhance their teaching or to make it more differentiated for a kid, I always go to visualization first, because our kids like to or learn better when they see or when they can visualize it. So it's a very, very important strategy for all teachers. It's something that I've really incorporated with our 7th grade math teacher, trying to teach her that everything she teaches, if she makes some kind of visualization of it or lets them visualize it on their paper, just give them a map, a thinking map, and let them write it out. It helps them to remember it.
The pathological reasoning.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to write that down as well. I'm having to do the scribe because my scribe today got, her son got under the weather, so.
And I think our kids these days are such visual learners. Everything they do is looking at a phone, looking at something. And so transferring what you want them to know into things like that, it's the way that they will make those connections.
Exactly. And I think that not only just getting them to visualize to that point of understanding, but getting them to be able to communicate that with their hand and writing it is the step that I'm really after. And what are y'all's opinions on, we have Cavazos, we're predominantly Hispanic, about 96%. I think it's actually higher maybe. Yeah. Do you think that there's maybe some disconnect in because we have the Hispanic culture has this real great verbal, communication. Do you think that there might be some disconnect between that and the written side, and this could help to achieve bridging gaps in the culture to get them to that next step?
For sure, definitely.
Do you think that there's other cultures out there that might suffer from this, and this could also be a technique they might be able to use?
Oh, for sure.
And
yeah.
I mean, even in ones that use it and that are successful, it could help them as well. All right, very good. What we're gonna do is this is the 3rd meeting. I have 2 more meetings planned because I don't want the data to stop here. I want to try to like enhance and bring on the people that we're missing, our other stakeholders, and then we'll we'll table this and we'll keep practicing it, and then we'll reschedule that next meeting, and that is basically it. Do you have any other things you'd like to add?
Nope, not this time.
That's it. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for coming today. I really appreciate it.